All right, so doing our inverse questions, similar thing to doing with standard normal, similar to our direct calculation. First thing we're going to do is put in our mean. We have a mean of 109 ounces. Then our standard deviation, which in this case was 13 ounces. And then we need to look for a keyword to let us know whether we need standard of between and greater than or less than. So this says lightest. Lightest to me feels like it's the left side of the curve, right? So I'm going to do a less than. And then instead of putting a value in here, this is what I want. I don't know what the actual weight of this baby is. I'm going to put in 2% as a decimal. So that's 0.02 and press compute. And this will tell me that that lightest infant, those infants that are stuck in the NICU, are any infants that weigh less than 82.3 ounces. So this is the value that we actually want as our output for these. And don't forget that you do need units if we're talking about a distribution, because otherwise I'm going to yell at you and send you back something to resubmit. All right, so let's do the next one. 95th percentile. Now this is one you might have trouble with. We should recognize that 95th is going to be 0.95, but the less than, greater than can be challenging for us here. Percentiles are always going to be left probabilities. So less than is actually correct, right? When you were in the 90th percentile growing up, that meant you were, I don't know, taller or bigger or smarter, whatever the heck we're measuring, than 95% of your peers. So 95th percentile should be a very heavy baby. So that percentile will always indicate we want to do that less than or equal to in StatCrunch. Okay, and so let's see. Heaviest 10%. Again, if you do it wrong, you just type in like 10 here and press compute. You'll be like, oh, that is actually a light baby. That's 92 ounces. That can't be right. And then you can just change this out. You're going to have to redo this part of it, but it's okay because you at least have that sort of visual to be like, that doesn't make any sense. So our heaviest 10% is 125.6 or 0.7 ounces. The last two are a little bit more challenging. 4 says the middle 80%, so we have to remember that we can toggle the top to that between, and then we can just type in that 0.8, and it'll give us two different baby weights. So typical babies are between 92.3 and 125.7 ounces. And then the final one, that Q3, just a reminder that our Q3 was a shorthand for the third quartile, which was a 75th percentile. So that when you'd want to toggle back to standard, percentiles are always less than, and we wanted 75%. In fact, there's some tricky questions out there you'll find in stats books that are like, find the IQR, where you have to go find your Q1 and your Q3 and then do the subtraction that we did way back in, what was that, Unit 3. So anyways, that is how we can use the StatCrunch calculator for all of our inverse questions. Again, put in the mean and standard deviation, decide whether you're standard or between, decide the direction, and then throw that percentage in as a decimal in the equal sign, and your answer will be inside of your probability notation.